He is only and only Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. This we have to understand very diligently. Because had Babasaheb Ambedkar not drafted the Constitution of India, India would not have remained united and not been progressing in the way, whatever way it is progressing today. So Babasaheb Ambedkar is the father of constitutional India, democratic India. So, friends, three things we have to understand. First, we have to liberate the Bahujan Samaj. Second, we have to create an enlightened India. Third, we have to go beyond that. We have to create an enlightened world. Why? Because Ambedkarism want to destroy all the causes for the sufferings and problems of humanity. And Ambedkarism gives a solution to that. It is a universal ideology. So, these are the three basic aspects that we have to understand. That only by Ambedkarism we can liberate the Bahujan Samaj, create an enlightened India, and create an enlightened world. Now what we have done is that, not only we have defined Ambedkarism, not only we have defined the goals of Ambedkarism, the 5 goals of Ambedkarism, the 5 movements to make Ambedkarism successful, but we have modeled the 21st century movement and organization to make Ambedkarism successful in India. Now, to be very brief, if at all we want to bring an Ambedkarite revolution in India, if at all we want to bring an Ambedkarite revolution in India, we will have to do 2 major works in India. We have to understand this thing very diligently. 2 major works we will have to do in India. What are the 2 major works that we will have to do in India? First, we will have to create a Buddhist India. And it is very important to understand this. A Buddhist India. Why? Unless there is a conversion in India, unless the people of India embrace the humanitarian and enlightened Dhamma of the Buddha as enunciated by Babasaheb Ambedkar, there will be no transformation of Indian mind. There will be no transformation of Indian mind. People have been claiming a lot about Vivekananda because 100 years of his centenary is being celebrated, and Kerala, as a reference, Vivekananda called Kerala as the lunatic asylum of India, if I am correct to quote this. But Vivekananda did not give the solution to transform the mind of India. Vivekananda again trapped India in the mind of slavery of the Vedantas. Niti. No. This is not Satya, this is not Satya. What is Satya? Brahma is Satya. Where is Brahma? Where is Brahma? Without SMS number? Without telephone number? Without email number? Where is Brahma? This is not true, this is not true, this is not. Then what is true? Brahma is true. Where is Brahma? No proof, no evidence, no thesis. No one could prove it. No one was able to tell the truth. That is the philosophy of the Vedanta. That is the false philosophy that Vivekananda has given. But Buddha is the first person who gave the scientific methodology to transform the mind. And therefore Babasaheb Ambedkar, when he was deliberating in Buddha or Karl Marx, he said to the communists that you want equality. Buddha also wanted equality. But your method of armed revolution is not durable. Buddha's method of transformation of mind is durable. And therefore, if you want to make the communist society as a durable society, then you will have to come beyond the armed revolution to the revolution of the Buddha, that is the revolution of transformation of mind. The communists didn't pay heed to the advice of Babasaheb Ambedkar. What happened in Russia and China and Cuba is a witness before us. We will not go into the details of it. So 2 major works we will have to bring to bring Ambedkarite revolution. What is it? One is making India a Buddhist India. And this is a very serious aspect. Let everyone think by conviction, by understanding. No forced conversion. We are not for forced conversion. But we are for a conversion by conviction. We are not for forced conversion. We are for a conversion by conviction. But we will bring conviction in India. And I have claimed, and I am very happy, and I am declaring this to you people, that in 2021, the Buddhist population will be our 3rd number in India. I am declaring this to you people, because we have a plan for that. The Buddhist population will be our 3rd number in India and the 2031 census will be a deciding census. And I am very much optimistic in the way that we are planning that by 2031-36, majority of the people of India will embrace the Dhamma of the Buddha as Baba Saheb Ambedkar has enunciated. Sangha Embassy has planned on it and we are working on it, and I am very much confident about it. Let everyone think about it. Whether you want to remain in a religion which does not say that you are a human being. Let every rational human being question whether I want to remain in a religion which does not say that I am a human being, or whether you want a religion which says no, only human being and humanism must be the base of religion. This is a question everyone has to think. What is the second major work that we will have to do? The second major work that we will have to do is to implement the policy of Ambedkarism in India. Policy of Ambedkarism in India. What sort of an educational policy we want? What sort of a gender policy we want? What sort of a labor policy we want? What sort of a defense policy we want? What sort of economic policy we want? What sort of a science policy we want? What sort of a defense policy and foreign policy we want? Baba Saheb Ambedkar is the first person in India who has given a solution for the reconstruction of India. Reconstruction of India. We have to reconstruct the India. If at all we want to reconstruct the India, what type of an India we have to build up? We are having a constitutional India. We are having a democratic India, and will not discuss in detail what sort of a democracy is there. It's not the 8 democracies that Baba Saheb Ambedkar envisaged. Baba Saheb Ambedkar is the first socio-political thinker of India, of the world, who said that not only political democracy, but social, economic, labor democracy, constitutional democracy, intellectual and moral democracy must be the base of political democracy. This is the theory of Baba Saheb Ambedkar. What sort of a democracy is there in India, I am not going to discuss today. But if we want to reconstruct India, reconstruction of India, no one is saying this. Modi is not saying, Rahul is not saying, Kejriwal is not saying, Anna Hazare is not saying. He is only wearing the topi and doing the job of, you see, हम हिंदी में बोलते टोपी पहना रहा है. हिंदी में हम कहते टोपी पहना रहा है, दूसरों को बेवकूफ बना रहा है. A little bit of Hindi. टोपी पहनाने का मतलब होता है कि to fool others. So no one is speaking about reconstruction of India. What is the problem of reconstruction of India? The problem of reconstruction of India is to abolish caste and caste capitalism and to create a constitutional, democratic, developed, scientific, modern, industrial, urban, modern and human India. That is the problem of reconstruction of India that we have to address. Now all the policies of India till today, to be very precise, understand, whichever government is there, the policy is either Brahminical or status quoist. Please understand this thing. Whichever government is there in India, whether it is the UPA government or the NDA government, whether it is the UDF or LDF in Kerala, whether it is the UDF or LDF in Kerala, whether it is UPA or NDA in India, whichever government is there, what is the policy? Please understand. The policy is either the Brahminical policy or the status quo policy. You see now why there is so much poverty and inequality in India. I am having a number of statistics, but today time is not permitting me. But India has become the capital of hunger, malnutrition. Largest number of illiterates and poor people are in India. Out of the world, poor and illiterates. Half of the Indians still going open air to defecate. They do not have toilets. That is the condition of India. We are discussing in 2011. I am giving you the statistics of 2011. So why there is so much caste-based socio-economic inequality in India? Now there was a caste, socio-economic caste census. The statistics has not been declared by the government. Why? Because they do not want to abolish the caste inequality in India. So whichever government, whichever leader, whichever party, the policy will be Brahminical or status quo, or welfarist, or populist. But if caste-based socio-economic inequalities are to be abolished, then only policy of Ambedkarism can do so. So we have to implement policy of Ambedkarism. We have to create India as a Buddhist India. Now, how to do this? So we have planned, and I will just brief you, that we have planned in six phases of 5 years each. By 2017, this movement will be the biggest movement of India based on Ambedkarism. And MBES is the first organization, I am very happy to claim this, within 6 years. It is the only first movement and organization of India post Dr. Ambedkar movement which united India in Ambedkarism. From Tamil Nadu to Uttar Pradesh, from Kerala to Rajasthan, from Madhya Pradesh to Jharkhand. In 6 years, only 6 years, we united India in Ambedkarism. MBES is the only first organization after Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar to do so. And within the coming 5 years, this movement will be the biggest movement of India based on Ambedkarism. This is what I am claiming today. Write in your notepads because I know that your software is not so strong. It will get deleted. So therefore, please note down on the notebook that I am saying that Mankar sir has came to Kerala in Kanangad and said that within 5 years this movement will be the biggest movement of India. Yes, by 2017 this movement is going to become the biggest movement. And I am very optimistic that there will be a new revolution in South India, and that new revolution in South India will be orchestrated, that torch will be bear by both Kerala and Tamil Nadu. I do not know Karnataka will do it or not, but I am also optimistic that Karnataka will also do, because Karnataka is also having a big history. Karnataka will also contribute, Andhra will also contribute. But I feel that if the South Indian society and South Indian history has to be changed, Kerala and Tamil Nadu has to take the lead. And today you have to commit to yourselves and to this moment and to me that whether you will bear that torch of a new revolution in South India or not. This is the question that I am putting before you. Whether you are going to bear that torch or not. Whether you are going to bear that torch or not.
Yes, yes, sir.
I am not convinced by your...
Yes, sir.
No, no one is saying so. Whether you are going to bring this new revolution in South India and world.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Confirm?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So we will not allow the efforts of great I.N. Kali and Narayan Guru and Ayodhya Das and of course Periyar also to go in vain.
Yes.
You will not allow their efforts to go in vain? Or you want their efforts to go in the Arabian Sea?
No.
Indian Ocean? No? So you are going to do it?
Yes.
Do you not know? Okay. So I am confident that this will become the biggest movement of India. And second, from 2017 the success of Ambedkarism will start. There will be minor success, major success, and ultimately the 5 goals of Ambedkarism. Someone might have briefed in the beginning. What are the 5 goals of Ambedkarism? In a nutshell I am telling you. The 5 goals of Ambedkarism are: if we want to create, if we want to make justice, liberty, equality, fraternity real and meaningful for the people of India, real and meaningful for the people of India, then you must have constitutional rights and safeguards. That means you must implement completely the Constitution of India, and you must also bring in the Constitution of India that Babasaheb Ambedkar wanted to bring in the states and minorities, human rights. Big issue today I cannot discuss. But 2 things. First, we have to implement the Constitution of India. Second, we want a constitutional expansion now. I am not speaking about constitutional review, I am speaking about the expansion of the Constitution. The expansion of the Constitution that Babasaheb Ambedkar wanted to bring. Okay? That has come in the forms of human rights and various theories. Babasaheb is the first person, constitutional scholar, to propound this in 1947 in his states and minorities. That is the first goal of Ambedkarism. What is the second goal of Ambedkarism? The second goal of Ambedkarism is to annihilate the caste and create an ideal society based on equality, liberty, fraternity and justice. That is the second goal of Ambedkarism. What is the third goal of Ambedkarism? The third goal of Ambedkarism is to abolish the caste economy and class economy and create economic democracy. That is the third goal of Ambedkarism. What is the fourth goal of Ambedkarism? The fourth goal of Ambedkarism is to make the Mool Nivasi Bahujan Samaj as the governing class for humanism. That is the fourth goal of Ambedkarism. And what is the fifth goal of Ambedkarism? The fifth goal of Ambedkarism is to create an enlightened India. These are the 5 goals of Ambedkarism. Goals. We have to achieve the goals. Not only to speak, not only to shout slogans. We have to achieve the 5 goals of Ambedkarism. This is a scientific moment. Achievement will be remembered. Achievement will bring change. Slogans will not. So 5 goals of Ambedkarism are to be achieved. And for this, we will have to run the 5 movements. Which are the 5 movements we will have to conduct in India? The first movement, that is the constitutional rights and the human right, constitutional rights and the safeguards movement. The second movement is annihilation of caste and social democracy movement. The third movement is the national ownership movement. The fourth movement is becoming a governing class movement. And the fifth movement is the conversion and the Dhamma Diksha movement. These are the 5 movements we will have to conduct for achieving the 5 goals of Ambedkarism. So, from 2017 onwards, small success will begin. 22 onwards, major success, and from 2027 to 36, all the 5 goals of Ambedkarism will be achieved. That means the 2 major work of Ambedkarite revolution would be completed. That is the plan. We have planned it from 2006 to 2036. 2006 was the golden jubilee year of the great Dhamma Diksha, the greatest conversion of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. 2036 will be the 100 years of the completion of annihilation of caste of Babasaheb Ambedkar. We have planned in this way that by 2036 and 2017 onwards, this movement will become successful. Now, we have created certain wings. And within 5 minutes I am going to round up. Certain wings we have created, 14 wings. We have planned in all for 24 wings in Ambas. Like the Dhamma Chakra of the national flag, 24. So in that way 24 wings we have planned. 14 wings we have already created. 4 wings will be the most important wings of Ambas now, out of the 14 or 24. What are the 4 wings which will be the most important wings? Which will take the burden of 60% of the plan. The 4 wings which will perform the biggest task of making Ambedkarism successful are: first, Prabuddha Bharat Sangha. The Prabuddha Bharat Sangha will make India Buddhist India. Second, Ambedkarite Party of India. We have given birth to Ambedkarite Party of India. And for your information, we are contesting 50 member parliament seats in the coming Lok Sabha elections from 7 states of India. This is for your kind information. And people, to just have a small sarcasm, people say manifesto, pooch ke bana rahe. They are asking how we should prepare the manifesto. I am saying, my dear friends, if you are asking that how the manifesto is created, that means you do not have any policy to run this country. The biggest policy document or manifesto is the Constitution of India. Under this Constitution, you have to draft the laws and policies. If the major parties of India don't have this wisdom or vision, then I say they don't have any policy to run this country. But we have declared the policy of Ambedkarism, that is the policy document, 2 years before the formation of the Ambedkarite Party of India. Second wing. Third wing, that will be most important, is the PCDHR. People for Constitution, Democracy and Human Rights. This wing will work for the implementation of Constitution of India and human rights. And fourth wing, that will be very important, is B2K3S2. That is Bahujan, Bhumihin, Kisan, Kamgar, Karmachari, Sangharsh Samiti. These will be the 4 wings which will be taking the major workload, major share to make Ambedkarism successful. All other wings will be equally important. They will play a very major and supportive role. But these 4 wings Sangha has created out of the 14 wings, they will be very significant. And last but not least, before ending my deliberation is that, very significant, if we do not have committed and proficient Ambedkarites, we cannot make Ambedkarism successful. You see, we are 100 crore people in the world today. 1 billion Bahujans. That is what I said, 1 billion. Out of 700 population of the world, we are 1 billion Bahujans. But we are not committed and proficient Ambedkarites. So, without we people becoming committed and proficient Ambedkarites, we cannot make Ambedkarism successful. You understand? Why Babasaheb Ambedkar was able to make his movement successful and give the biggest ideology of Ambedkarism to the world? Because Babasaheb Ambedkar was committed to humanism. He was the greatest intellectual of the world, greatest humanitarian revolutionary of the world, greatest philosopher and statesman of the world. Therefore, Babasaheb Ambedkar was able to do so. But the post-Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar movement has not been able to produce committed and proficient Ambedkarites. There have been good people. There have been good people working in the movement, but committed and proficient Ambedkarites were not created. Therefore, we have adopted a process. What is the process? The process and principle is equal for all. That is Diksha, Shiksha, Pariksha, Samiksha. Diksha, Shiksha, Pariksha, Samiksha. What is Diksha? You will have to take an oath. Ki Ambedkarism, I will do this, I will not do this. What is Shiksha? Shiksha is teaching, training. 8 days foundation course compulsory for every person who wants to work from district level and above. For your kind information, Ambedkarite Party of India, 50-member parliaments, we have given seats. Not a single person we have given a seat without giving them 5 days foundation course training. Ambedkarite Party of India is the first party of Indian history which has given ticket to only such people who have been trained in Ambedkarism and Constitution. And therefore I am very much confident that when they will win, the parliament will be a different scenario and a different battlefield of democracy, and Congress, BJP and their allies will be defeated. When they will be defeated in numbers, that will be another thing, but they will be defeated in ideology and policy on the floor of the parliament. I am very much confident about this. So process. Committed and proficient Ambedkarites. We have to create an Ambedkarite leadership. Which leadership? Ambedkarite leadership. Not hanky-panky leadership. Not kuch bhi chalta hai leadership. Not chamcha or lota leadership. We have to create an Ambedkarite leadership. Ambedkarite leadership has to be created. That can be created only by Diksha, Shiksha, Pariksha, Samiksha. That is the training. This is an important aspect. We will be creating 10,000 organizers and 5 lakh cadres in India. And for this we have planned a very big center in Nagpur, and we are calling that center as World Center of Ambedkarism. World Center of Ambedkarism. What will be this World Center? It will be the global capital of Ambedkarism. It will have a very big training center, most modern training center, a knowledge center, an Ambedkarite parliament. Ambedkarite parliament because our people fight too much. So I am telling our people, come fight in this parliament, let us discuss and decide, and once for all solve this issue, that what has to be done. And of course to train the MPs and MLAs which will be going to the parliament. Then there will be a very big hostel, officers hostel, a global office of Sangha, big auditorium, art and cultural gallery, a martial arts vihar, all those things will be there. We are calling this center as a World Center of Ambedkarism. We have already purchased land worth 65 lakh rupees. We are spending some more amount for, you see, the government formalities of finalization of the plan and also. And whenever the plan is finalized, we will start the construction. And I am very much confident that within 4 to 5 years, we will complete the first phase of this World Center of Ambedkarism. So, what is the plan to make Ambedkarism successful? First, we have to achieve the 5 goals by the 5 movements. Second, we have to bring an Ambedkarite revolution in India. Third, we have to bring this in a scientific and systematic way. Up to 2017, we are going to make this movement as the #1 movement of India. From 17, this movement will become successful. Fifth, we have to create committed and proficient Ambedkarites. That is, we have to give an Ambedkarite leadership not only to the Bahujan Samaj but to India and to the world. That is the major aspect. And all this has to be done under the national plan to succeed in Ambedkarism, which is the constitution of the movement. This is the plan, and I am very much confident that we are going to make Ambedkarism successful in India, and Ambedkarism will become the ideology and philosophy of the 21st century, because today there is suffering in the world, there is problem in the world. Neither Voltaire, nor Rousseau, nor Lincoln, nor Lenin, neither Rawls, nor Nagel, nor Jesus, nor Moses. No one can give a solution to the sufferings and the problems of the world. If at all, any philosophy or ideology or the great persons who can give a solution to the sufferings and problems of the world, they are the greatest. And the 2 greatest persons of the world are the Buddha and Baba Saheb Ambedkar, I am very much confident that 21st century will be a century of Ambedkarism, and a new world will be created with this great vision in the mind I have come before you people in South India, in Kerala, and I am very much optimistic that now Kerala will witness a new revolution. But that new revolution will have to be brought going beyond Narayan Guru, taking the radical approach of Ahinkali and completing it by the revolutionary approach of Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Kerala must think to go beyond Narayan Guru with the radical approach of Ahinkali and to complete the unfinished task of the great revolution of South India by the greatest revolutionary ideology of humanism, that is Ambedkarism. This is my message to the Kerala people. Kerala, this is the first time that I am coming in Kerala. It is a good AC hall, but next time when I come to Kerala, please don't confine me to AC hall, because I am a person who likes to sweat, because I think that unless you sweat, you will not achieve anything. So next time when I come to Kerala, please don't sit in AC hall, call thousands of people, let it be a big hall or a big ground where we can, collect lakhs of people or thousands of people in Kerala. I will certainly come to Kerala and I will ensure that the unfinished task of South Indian society's great revolution of the Nagas will be orchestrated. Thank you. Jai Hind. Thanks a lot. The question is something like that: when caste discrimination is still existing among SC, ST and OBC communities and they are being suppressed, how can we create a government of our own ideology, because our population is only 25%? This is a very common question, but a good question which comes to the mind of all our people. First of all, Ambedkarism is a philosophy, ideology not only for SC, STs but for Bahujans in India, and I can say for all human beings of the world. And our experience of the movement is, now when we started this movement, not only the SC, STs, but the D20 population. I'll give the figure. What is the figure of India? SC, ST, the scheduled caste, including the converted Christians and Muslims, they are 20% in India. If you speak about the Dalits, the Dalit as a terminology, include the Dalits who have converted to Christianity and Islam. Dalits are 20% in India. Tribals as of today, they are 9% in India. The DTNTs, denotified and nomadic tribes, they are 12% in India. So the 38% population of India was the Varna Bahayas. They were out of the Varna fold. 38%. Now, OBCs, if you minus the DTNTs and the converted Christians and the Muslims, the effective OBC population in India is only around 34 to 36%. Out of which again, the dominant castes are only 15 to 17% in India. The rest of the 20%, around 18 to 20% of the OBC population are the small communities which have been called the occupational caste of India, that is the Balutedar, Alutedar caste, occupational castes. So, our experience tells, because we have been practically organizing not only the SC, STs but also the DTNTs and OBCs.